Hello folks, in today's video we will see how to create this wonderful ad for Google using the Google Web Designer tool, which is completely free, at least at the moment. So let's start to work and see how this banner can be created. My name is Thiago Carvalho and I graduated with a degree in graphic design. I am a marketing enthusiast and I'm learning from programming. If you want to avoid watching this introduction, you can skip ahead with the video without any problems or resentment. My passion for design and my immense desire to share knowledge with those who need it, I decided to keep my knowledge in design, marketing and IT up to date and share it with you as a source of knowledge and research. This first video is based on creating banners in the best way using Google Web Designer and manipulating the information so that it is presented in the best way for possible leads. This motivation came after being accepted for a top company in Canada as a freelancer to create, adapt or adjust during its production. But let's stop talking about me and let's get to the point. The process is very simple and we often only have a little programming knowledge. One quick tip is be careful with your images, because excellent images with a high quality usually is really heavy and can compromise the final size of 5 megabytes for the arts in our Google Web Design. So the first thing I'm gonna create is come here in our folder. I'm gonna create Thiago Design. I'm gonna create some good name for this project. I'm gonna put the size of the banner 300 by 600 pixels and the name of the project. If I have the name of the campaign, I can put here and it's going to be easy to find. It's just an example. I don't have any campaign to run after that, so that's okay. I can go back to our Google Web Design and come here to create a new file. Another tip is like we're gonna place the logo, create the taxes, everything in here in this banner. But in the future, you can reuse these files already, the files already created. But at the end of the video, I will give you some tips for this. At first, we'll work with a new file. So after creating a new file on Google Web Design screen, so we're gonna name our file. So first banner. And where it's gonna be located. So I'm gonna return here in videos. I created this Thiago Design and open. So all my files gonna be here. The second part is environment. I'm gonna set the display to video 306 to have all the features for the Google AdWords. And in dimensions, they have some predefined 300 by 600 pixels. And I'm gonna keep the animation mode advanced. Clicking OK. And we have our area here. I'm gonna just a quick Command S or Control S if you're using Windows to save and return for my banner. So here we have our files, they are already created. That's amazing. But the most important file here is assets and is not here. Why? Because we didn't place anything here. The first contact can be intimidating, but we are gradually learning how to use this powerful tool. A good tip if someone has already created a layout is to put exporting in JPEG and import into Google Web Design to get the idea of the space, fonts, and other elements. For this first model, we will create everything directly in the tool. But again, like I told you, we don't have the most important folder, is assets. And how we can create this folder assets? We can come here in File and import assets. For this case, I have in videos reference, and those are the files I'm gonna use for my banner. So I select all of them and open. After do that, I save it and return for our folder. So we have assets here. Why this folder is important is because all images and the font, external fonts, we're gonna place it over here. Let's start with the images. I'm gonna just adjust the position here I wanted the background on top of the template. The template is the last one. Logo need to be on top of everything, just to keep the order. For the background, I'm gonna click in the eye view and just hide for a while, because I need to adjust the size of my images. I can come here in Properties and just be sure the constraint aspect ratio is clicked, and I can adjust by here. Or I can come here manually, holding the Shift key, and place on top and just adjust. Because in this case it's not too relevant to be perfect, the size of my image. Now it's time for the logo, the same thing. Hold the Shift key in the corner. If your box is not working, not showing the box, be sure the transform control is checked. So I'm gonna adjust here, just adjust the position. Okay, the logo is perfect. Amazing, we have our elements. And now I can return the background just to check if everything is here. Amazing. Now it's time to put the text. And how are we gonna do that? We can activate the text tool by pressing the T key on the keyboard, or we can go here on the left side and the text tool. I'm gonna return the view of our template and hide the background, because I need to have the text to see the size and those informations. They're really important. So just gonna click once and write the text. Customize, enter your geeks. Okay, enter. Amazing, and ask to leave this tool. V to select again our selection tool. I love to use shortcuts, so you're gonna hear me saying many V, T, Ctrl, Shift. So I like to make my job faster, so I love to use shortcuts. We have our text, but it's far to be nice, far to be good. So we need to, when I created this art, I already copy here to be easy to set up in a Google Web Design. So this is the color of my font. I can select my font, come here in text. If the text is not showing, for example, let's say, usually the text is here, but for any reason, someone closed or some bug happened, we can come here, window, and select text, and he show up again. For this one, I'm gonna click here in the color, and place, enter. Amazing, we have our color for here, and the size I defined for this art is 46. So 46 pixels. And let's put a center align. Didn't change much, but it's okay. Here I'm gonna keep the align container selected, and just to be sure, I'm gonna centralize in the horizontal center. Okay. But the font's totally different. Good thing is you can just change your font here. Bad thing, we don't have this font in our machine. Now is the important part of the assets page, because here I have some fonts that I select for this project. I'm gonna Command C, come here for our videos, our folder, assets, and paste. Okay, I have many fonts that I'm not gonna use, so I'm gonna keep just the fonts that I'm gonna use. It's gonna be like the regular, baby, and the bold for sure. The rest I'm gonna delete because I don't need. If you need, you can use them. And now I'm gonna show you how. I have to get my hands dirty with a little CSS, but don't worry. This simple code won't give you beginner's nightmares. I will also leave the code snippet in the code and explain a little bit for you understand what you need to change. But just some quick tips. The folder you place the images, text, and other information is not gonna display until you save with some images inside. So again, this folder assets will show up after you place something like images. So be careful and don't get crazy if it's not showing up. Another important thing, you can notice like my files, they don't have any space or special characters between them. If you have, you can have many problems in the future when the Google try to read your images and maybe they are not showing because the special characters. Okay, after talking about that, let's start with the code. So I already have the code here. To keep our job easy, and copy, and we can come here for the code view. And to be easy, if you start to click in the code view in the top right part, you can see a lot of code and crazy codes. And like, customize your kicks. Oh, they are here. Amazing. What the name? Class GDD span ZG KJ. Great to try to find here because they create their own codes. So one quick tip to do to find this file easy, this class, you can select and change the times to Verdana. I almost never use Verdana, so this is the reason I'm using now. Because when I come here to the code view and Command F and try to find Verdana, here is the class of our project. So let's start to create our customized fonts. Usually I prefer put this code to have the first style here, the second style here, and the third one. I like to put just after the third one. Always work, so I prefer keep the things like this. Here I already set the font family. The font family is the name that the CSS is gonna call for this font. And this src is the search where it's located. So be sure this path is right. So assets, let's double check in the real time. So you have assets, amazing. Name of the folder, Saint-Essence font, and here I have the Saint-Essence regular .otf and Saint-Essence bold.otf. Amazing, I have both of them, different names, because if I need to call the bold, if I need to call the regular. Okay, let's select this, find again our Verdana, and here I'm gonna change it. Just save. If I come back to the design view, you have our font with Saint-Essence bold. Like I told you, it's not a really complicated CSS or code, but it's good to know what you're doing. I'm gonna centralize here. Now it's time to create our button, and after we're gonna start to animate it. But just in case I don't want my elements start to move in the screen, so for the logo, shoes, and the background, I'm gonna lock them. Lock the background, lock the shoes, lock the logo. This is a good thing if you have the files named correctly. It's gonna be easy to locate them in your timeline. Now I'm gonna zoom in And let's start to create our button. We can create in Illustrator and just export, but sometimes the quality is not too good, so I prefer create everything here, some extra elements. I'm gonna come here in the element tool or shortcut D and create my box. As you can see, if I select V, I create something empty, just with a line to show your button is here, but it's not enough. And sometimes when you try to expand, the snippet tool is a kind of tricky, so it's a little bit hard. What I do is adjust the position here in the corners, left and top, return to properties, and again, if it's not here, come to window and click over here, and it's we're gonna show for you. But for this case, I'm gonna come in the top and adjust just be sure it's not linked your width and weight, and start to increase little by little, and yes, perfect. Go to the next one, adjust, and you can see it's increasing the size. Amazing. I'm gonna move a little bit up because I'm gonna need to go down and find the fill. For the fill, I'm gonna use the same color as my font. I click here in the fill, select here and change the color. You have our color. But as you can see, you have rounded corners. So if you move a little bit more in the border area, you can see the border. If you want to just move, change one corner, you can like select here to keep identical. And we're gonna work individually. But in this case, I want everything the same. And I'm gonna put 10. Enter. Amazing. You have our button. Now it's time for text again. Return for our text tool. Click in any place, anywhere on the screen. Write your text, asking us how. And again, return to the text. I'm gonna change the color for FF. Enter. I know my button is gonna be bold and 20 pixels. So let's increase here for 20 pixels. And let's try to find here. Oh, we don't have yet. More fonts. Let's try to see if they save it here. Not yet. So let's do cancel here. Let's do the process again. The good thing is like I'm gonna change Verdana here. Code view. Just gonna copy this sentence bold because it's the name of that I need. Command F, Verdana, and here is the text of our button. After I change here, I like to save every time. If I lose my files, like happens a few times, it's not funny, it's not nice. But if you save, you're not gonna lose everything. So design view, I'm gonna move a little bit. And here is our text. If I select here, sentence bold. Now it's time just to organize our two elements. I can try to centralize them and adjust manually, but I prefer use the tool to get more precision. So select one and hold Shift key, select another. So we have a selection of two elements. I'm not gonna align to the container because if I do that, he's gonna center in the middle of everything. So I'm gonna uncheck it, this align to container, and you're gonna align here in a vertical center and in a horizontal center, because they just gonna get the biggest element and align everything inside of them. It's looking like nice. I'm gonna just click out. But if I look very careful, sometimes I just need to click the text and move a little bit down, because as you can see, I have more space in the bottom than in the top. So just something simple, but the visual is much better. After that, I select both elements and right button, create a group. In this case, I'm gonna put just CTA, call to action. Okay, why I did that? Because now if I click in the text or in a background, they are one element. I'm gonna put here in the final position, just align here, now return for align to container, align, and that's it. So I have all the elements. I just need to return the background and hide, oops, not the shows. Where is my element, my template? Here. I need to hide my element. I need to hide my template. Okay, it's nice. I can start to animate it, but just be careful with another thing. If you come here to preview, sometimes they show all the images. So if I don't need anymore, I prefer select the element and delete, because I already have all the elements in my screen to start the animation. Now it's time to animate the text and the button. For this, I will look the elements, just double check, is lock it. The only thing is unlock it is our text and our button. I'm gonna create select the text just to be sure this our timeline for the text. Select here in 0.5 seconds, right button, insert a keyframes. Amazing, we have a keyframe, and now we can start to animate it. I'm gonna return here, select the first keyframe, and move to right. I'm gonna select the text, select the first keyframe, and move to left. I'm holding the Shift key to move 5 pixels at every click. In another case, you just move to left, it's going to be 1 pixel. So just to save time. Now I return for the second keyframe and just align in the center of the page. And if I see, I have our first animation. Ta-da! Nice, but not perfect. I like to create some fade. So how can you recreate that? Select the first keyframe again, go back to Properties, and here in Fill, you're gonna change 1 to 0. It disappears. Amazing. I return for the second one. He applied for both, so this is kind of annoying. I need to move 1. Okay, let's see our preview. Refresh. Nice, but not perfect. Another thing we can do is like change the type of animation. I'm gonna right click in between the keyframes, and he's using the linear, so has 1 speed for everything. I'm gonna move for ease in, because he's gonna start slow and go fast. So let's see how it's gonna do. Refresh. Start slow, but it's kind of ugly because it's very fast. So I'm gonna just select the second keyframe and move for 1 second. Preview. Sometimes I have these delays because I'm recording the screen and it has some delays, but that's okay. It's working, but now it's too slow. I'm gonna move a little bit over here. The good thing is always try to look how it's doing and to have a good result. Okay, I'm gonna close all of those. I don't need them anymore. So time for animate the button. Here is the same thing. I can animate like left to right and fade, but usually buttons I prefer just animate the fade. So I'm gonna put here 5. It's a good way to start. Insert a keyframe. In this case, I'm gonna return for the first one. All these steps again. So it's easy to memorize because you're gonna repeat. You have 10 types of banners with the same type of animations. For sure, after one project, you're gonna be really good to remember those commands and where they are. 1. And again, I'm gonna change to the linear for right button. Is in. And see. Preview. Refresh. Nice, but usually the button just show up and appear in a screen when you finish to read the text. So what you're gonna do, if it's not selected like this, I'm gonna click in the middle of the keyframes and move to the front. So the animation of the text finish here. The people is gonna have like a few seconds to read, and then the button is gonna show up in the screen. Let's see the time. Refresh. I don't have the magical formula for that. Usually I like to read loudly and see if I have enough time to read before the animation restart or before the next element show up in the screen. So if I try now, it's like customize your kicks. Ask us how. It's almost the same time, but you have time to see. First read this and after read that. Amazing, you have the first animation. But in the Google Web Designer, how the things works. Usually you have the animation running for 3 times, and here is just 1. How can we fix that? It's pretty simple. So you can just click here to add a label in the beginning of our animation, or right click, add label. In this case, I'm gonna put repeat. Let's change here, I don't want the caps. Repeat 3 times. Because that is gonna do. Repeat this timeline 3 times. Amazing. And I wanted this animation with 3.5 seconds. So this, we're gonna start to add some events. We're gonna control this, how many times or they're gonna repeat before it starts. So I can come here, put our needle of in our timeline in 3.5. I can add an event here, or I can simply right click, add an event, and he create this image with the E inside. Now we can add event to marker, and you have many things we can do. But for this case, I'm not gonna explain everything because it's gonna take time, and I know many people wanna just create the banner. So Google Ad, we're gonna create, and so here in this, we're gonna go to the timeline because they're gonna go and play n times, in our case 3. We just have one page, so the receiver is going to be page 1. This is our label. If you create all other labels, they're going to show here, and you need select which one do you want. And I'm going to put 2. But Thiago said we're going to see 3 times. Why is 2? Simple. Because every time they started, they need to run once, and then they're going to repeat twice. So first one, and plus 2 more. This is the reason they're going to repeat 3 times. And OK. I don't know if it's working. Let's see the preview. 1, 2, 3, and stop it. Amazing. But let's just see one thing. 1, customize your cakes. Oh, I'm not having enough time to read. Let's refresh and try again. Customize your cakes. Ask us how. Okay, almost in the limit. I don't like that, so I can just move this event for 4 seconds. And now, if I go to the preview again, customize your cakes. Ask us how. Okay, I have problems to read, but I still have time to read everything before changing. Amazing. We can move on. But before, let's close all of this. Dun, dun, dun. Almost done, I promise. We changed the text, create the button, put the images, put the logo, background, and we are missing just one thing. And this thing is here in the right side, in the bottom, components. Again, is located here. Components. If it's not showing in the right side, I don't know why. The reason I'm pointing in my screen, you cannot see me. Clicking components and it's gonna show. For this, we have many things that you can do for websites and banners and whatever you're creating. But for this one, you're gonna create only tab area. We're gonna drag and drop in our art. And amazing. If the client click here in this area, they're gonna be redirected for this site, the website you're gonna set up soon. But we need this to cover everything, so we have 2 possibilities. Adjust here and manually cover all of our art, or the easiest way for me, at least, I prefer put the real size of our banner here, 300 by 600, and I can return here and just align. Be sure is the align to container is checked, and that's it. We have our tab area, and as the tab area is kind of an event, so right button, add event. For this one, it's going to be tab area, touch and click, Google Add, and we go to exit add. The receiver is going to be the Google Web Design add, just one, don't need to worry about that. The metrics, I like to put something, if you're working with the GA4 or another tool, I like to have the metrics with the same name to be easy for export and they create the report. So for this one, I'm going to create banner first. Let's keep it first banner. 300 by 600 with no space, no special characters. Here you can put the name of the campaign and the URL. This can be a kind of tricky because you can just put the link like google.com, your website.com, but you cannot track. Or you can with the Google Ads, but you don't have the full track of the information. So it's really good if you have the UTM. UTM is another topic I can talk with everybody in the future if you want. You can put in the description. I love it. Talking about the description, don't forget to give your like, subscribe, and give comments. I appreciate it. I can improve for the next ones. But return talking about the UTMs is another topic I can create, and you can analyze in GA4, for example, the metrics and the access and everything in real time, and create some good reports. But for this one, I just will create my simple URL, and it's gonna be okay, page 1, collapse, put the link, click on OK. If I check here in the preview, let's see. I'm gonna run once, one more time, and the last one. Perfect. If I click here, if I check, all my banner is, I can click in, and if I check here, it's all clickable, so doesn't matter where I click, they're gonna redirect from my website. Amazing. I still working on my website, so sorry about that, but soon we're gonna have some news, and I can create some tutorials how I create my website, but it's not the topic now. Everything's working, everything's ready to export, but before export, just a few tips that I said in the beginning. But first, thank you very much for follow until this moment, and two small things that make a difference, a huge difference in the future. You can reuse those banners. Like, you're gonna create for the same company, the same idea, just change the elements. You can use this banner for make your job quick, but be careful with the names. You need to change the name here. You need to change the name of your event sometimes, or the links, the UTMs is the most important. Like the final links, you need to be sure they are changed. So be careful when you reuse those things. Try to double check everything, and sometimes it's easy to delete and recreate, like the tab area. It's easy to delete and recreate because you saw it's really quick. And another thing, before clicking this wonderful button, we need to return for our assets in our folder, because we have the background, we have the logo, we have the shoes, but we're not using the template anymore. And this can happen if you reuse this, because you're gonna change the background, you're gonna keep the logo, change the shoes. But the files, they will stay here, and they can be like heavy for this the platform or for the agency you're gonna send. Delete. And now your file is ready to publish. So we can come here, publish. I'm gonna publish locally, because you can send for someone approve, or for someone check it, or for the agency upload, whatever. So locally, then first banner, okay, and the left side you can see the summary. This is a display video 360. This is the size, less than 5 megabytes. Initial load, file count, amazing. Everything okay, and this is very important. Passing all checks. Congratulations. So create a zip is important, because the file is gonna send. And here I'm just gonna check if it's in the right folder. So let's see, videos. I'm gonna put here, first banner. Open. And that's it. Let's publish. Oops, not yet. I forgot one small detail. Add border. We don't want our banner floating in our partners' websites. So usually I like to put a simple border like EC, EC, EC. Is a light gray, so
you're gonna see some slight difference between the background. So publish, and here this lovely message. And if you return for our folder, you have our banner created. Let's unzip this just to see what you have. Just the files we need and the index.html. If you open, you can see the border here, very soft, and our animation working. If you click again, redirect for a website, and everything is ready for the agencies. So I'm really happy you watched until now. That's all for today, folks. I hope you enjoy it. Any tips, questions, suggestions, I will be here to help. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. See you next time. Comment if you have new suggestions for the next videos. I appreciate your time. See you soon.